For more on this call then been made by residents, we're joined by SANDF spokesperson Brigadier Andries Mahapa. Brigadier Mahapa, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Of course, it seems that particularly when communities are reaching levels of frustrations, particularly out of failures by the police, calls for the SANDF to come in are not new, but we see them more and more. Your response to the calls of those out in the West Rand?
Good evening, Kathy, and good evening to your viewers as well. The call by the South African public for the SANDF to get involved in terms of calming the situation, I think it's a positive note in a sense that it gives the image and an impression that South African believes that the SANDF can make the changes and calm the situation. However, the South African Defence Force cannot operate on their own internally. We have to be in support of the SAPS, and one must be mindful that we don't have like a carte blanche whereby we'll decide on our own that we'll move out of the barracks and go to the mines and do whatever we want to do. Of course, we have the capability. We are ready. If the president says deploy as in tomorrow, we'll be on the streets tomorrow, we'll be on the mines tomorrow, and we'll stabilize the situation as in yesterday. We are ready. We are not really happy in terms of what is happening because people are not respecting the law of our country. If people are coming from outside the country and waving their weapons, as we saw on social media for a couple of weeks back, that is undermining the law of this country, and we cannot really be happy about that. No, I'm of the opinion that we need to contain this situation as in yesterday. You know, it's a positive note that the South African public, they are calling for the SANDF to come and calm the situation. However, this must be discussed between the Minister of Police and the Minister of Defence and Military Veterans. Obviously, the Commander-in-Chief has to authorize the deployment of the SANDF. But we are ready as an SANDF.
Brigadier Mahapa, don't we need to be careful in terms of the issues to which we deploy the army to and the circumstances under which we deploy the army? Because there is a very distinct line of function for the SANDF and for the police. The army can't come in because the police are failing to do what they're supposed to do. It cannot be the general backup option.
I fully agree with you, but one needs to be mindful in terms of the mandate of the South African Defence Force. The primary mandate of the South African Defence Force, we are there to protect the territorial integrity of the Republic and its citizens. So, by merely being involved, we are carrying out the mandate in support or in cooperation with the SAPS. We are not operating outside of our mandate. However, we cannot bulldoze there. We need to be invited to say, come and assist. If there's no call from the SAPS to say, come and assist, we cannot really find ourselves in that space. We need to be invited. Or the president must make that call for the SANDF to be there and calm the situation. We are ready, as in yesterday.
If we talk about territorial integrity, then should we not be backtracking a bit and asking ourselves, how do we have this situation that we do today when you have so many undocumented migrants in the country? And it really goes back to what's happening at our borders and how porous they've become. The army, of course, has a responsibility to keep watch over those borders. Isn't this, to some extent, a failure of the work that the army is supposed to be doing before we even get to the situation we're in today?
No, definitely not. It is not a failure. Remember that we are protecting the border. We have an operation called Corona. We are protecting the border. And we've raised this on several platforms that as an SANDF, we need to be funded accordingly, so that we can put more boots on the ground to protect effectively on the border. And we appreciate the fact that government put the BMA so that the SANDF can work together with the BMA so that there is more control and more effectiveness of managing the illegal crossing the people from other countries. We are not failing. There are so many successes that we have recorded as a SANDF. I mean, I can count a lot of them. I can even give you 3 or 6 pages in 1 month in terms of the confiscation that we have done as an SANDF. Although it's not enough, that I must say. We need more boots on the ground, but more boots on the ground need more funding, of which that is the problem.
At the same time, though, there are members of the South African National Defence Force that are accused of being those that are beneficiaries of corruption that is taking place along the country's borders, that they're members of the force that are complicit in taking bribes for letting people into the country.
I fully agree with you. And we thank the carte blanche that exposed it. And some of those members, as we speak now, they are out of the Defence Force. There's an investigation that is going on for those who are remaining. Obviously, the Defence Force cannot stand back and allow those members to do as they pleases. Obviously, in a box of apple, you find those rotten ones. But as a Defence Force, we are getting rid of those rotten apples within our system.
When you say you're getting rid of them, can you give us an indication of the kind of investigations that you're conducting right now?
There were a board of inquiries that was concluded. Several members appeared at the military court. Most of them, they were discharged. Others are in the process of appearing within the military court itself.
So should we not be focusing on that issue first, strengthening the presence of the army along the border and ensuring that those who are given that responsibility are in fact doing it before we talk about deployment of the army within communities?
It's true what you are saying. We are not saying we want to deploy within communities. Even our Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, during the budget speech, she said, I need more funding so that the people of South Africa can sleep peacefully, knowing that our borders are now protected. But as we speak now, I mean, for the past 4 to 5 years, the funding of the Defence Force has been declining, on an annual basis. So once we can receive the borders, it's easy for us to put more boots on the ground, more equipment on the ground. So I hope the powers that may be, they look into this issue and fund the Defence Force accordingly so that you can be in a position to carry out our mandate as effective as we would want to.
SANDF spokesperson Brigadier Andries Mahapa there.